Okay, so we are inside my 1968 Jaguar E-Type, and I am putting a hidden Bluetooth stereo in this car. I've actually experimented with a few different radio solutions for this vehicle, but a few different ones I haven't been happy with, and so we're making some more changes. You can see this car does actually have a cutout for a radio. However, I don't want to put a modern radio in there. That would completely ruin the aesthetic of the vehicle. And some of the classic radios, I actually don't think they look, they make modern radios that look like a classic radio. But I don't like the looks of many of them. And many of them are $300-400, which is kind of silly to spend because this vehicle actually only has two small speakers, just the two grills on the side of the center console. Those are the only speakers in the car. So there's no point in spending hundreds of dollars on a radio to power two simple speakers. So I've been exploring some different options, and I guess I will. I guess I'm going to pull that center console and I'll show you around and talk about what our options are here. Okay, so here is the center console removed from the Jaguar. And you can see it's just two Kenwood speakers mounted on the inside of these cover grills. And this is the current Bluetooth receiver that I have in the car. It's a knob sound from Amazon. It costs about $35-40, and it's 2-channel, takes 12 to 24 volts in, and in theory this is should be perfect. Puts out the wattage we need, and you just connect to it with your smartphone, and you can listen to iHeartRadio, whatever you want when you're driving. Except there's one problem with this knob sound. It has the most annoying startup sound that honestly is embarrassing. If every time I start my car I have to listen to this thing, I'm gonna shoot myself. So listen to the startup sound that this thing makes.
Bluetooth mode. Bluetooth is connected.
This thing is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And the problem that you have with this is you actually have to sort of lock the volume pretty high up, because this is going to be hidden under the dash, so you're not going to be able to manually control the volume. So you kind of have to set the volume pretty high on this and then control the volume using the up down on your cell phone, which is fine and works fine, except when that startup noise is so loud. So this is ridiculous. So I'm definitely changing this. And I looked around online and I found this Bluetooth module for this was $20 on Amazon, but you can actually get them as cheap as $12 shipped from China, but I didn't want to wait for the shipping. So this is rated for 100 watts per channel, although technically you got to read the fine print. It's 100 watts per channel at 24 volts. At 12 volts, this is rated at 40 watts per channel. But honestly, that's still plenty of wattage for a simple hidden stereo setup like this. Takes 5 to 27 volts in, which is perfect. So we'll put in our 12 volts. This is the left-right channel. Here's a volume knob, and it does have an aux input, but be careful, this aux input, if you plug a cable into this aux input, it will switch over to the aux input instead of the Bluetooth. And if this is hidden under your dash, you're not really going to have a way to plug and unplug the aux input. Now this is designed to be panel mounted. You can see it has the panel screw in that. So you could come up with a way to sort of panel mount this somewhere out of the way if you wanted, so that you could access this aux. But really, there's no need to use the aux since this is full Bluetooth. So let's wire this up. test it, and then we'll put it back in the car and go from there. So here is my, this is one channel here, so let's pull the wire in. And technically this would be the right the right speaker. So this is my negative, so this is right negative right here. Oh. Need a better screwdriver than this. Okay, so right channel negative, let's feed the wire in. And actually I'm gonna bend it a little bit just so it fits under here. Oh, not fitting. What I actually need to do is chop the wire a little bit. Okay, these leads are a bit too long. Okay, so right channel negative, push it under the screw. Okay, there we go. Clamp it the other side, and we can clamp down on it. Okay, right channel positive. Okay, perfect. Let's clamp down on it. Okay, let's get the other side. Okay. Now, one of the benefits of this little speaker module is they actually proudly advertise that there's no annoying startup jingle. So that's one of the main reasons I went with this Bluetooth amplifier, is because it claims no annoying startup sound. So we will find out in a second if that is true. Okay, let's feed. Oh, gotta undo that a bit more. Okay. Okay, that is wired in. Let's plug this in, and we will see what it sounds like. And actually, let's turn the volume up quite a bit. Let's see what happens. Okay, not too terrible. Actually, ironically, I actually have to use this phone that I'm recording with to go connect to the Bluetooth. So, okay, well, interestingly, I found out that you can't play Bluetooth and record a video with your phone at the same time. So I actually had to go break out my tablet, and that's now connected to the Bluetooth module, and we'll play some copy-free YouTube music over here. And you can see it plays just fine, sounds nice and crisp, and will work just fine for a cheap hidden stereo in a classic car. So now that this is working and the startup beep is not too annoying, let's go and install this in the car. Okay, so you are going to need 12 volt power for this radio. It comes with a barrel connection like this, and you're going to have to hook this up to a plus and minus, a 12 volt positive and a ground negative. Ideally, you're going to want to use switched power because you want the radio to turn on and off with the car. So there's a few places you can get the switch power from. If you have a cigarette lighter on your classic car, those often are powered by switched power. You can also tap maybe the hazard switch, that often is switched power. Or even better, if you can access the fuse box, you will go and find the switch power in your fuse box. I will show you. I get fuse power for this. I've already put in my 12 volt here, and I get the 12 volts from the fuse panel. The fuse panel in a Jaguar E-Type is actually behind the main dash here. You actually undo these little screws in the corner here. And this will fall down to reveal all the car's wiring and the fuse panel. Here, I don't know if you can see, but I've already tapped the fuses for 12 volts. What you want to do is take a multimeter and check the circuits and find a circuit that is off when the car is turned off, and when you turn the car on, powers up and gives you 12 volts. So that is a switched 12 volt circuit. Some of these circuits are always going to have 12 volts even when the car is off. That is constant power, and you do not want that for the radio. You want the radio to turn off with the car and turn on with the car. So find your switched 12 volt power source, tap it for the barrel connector, and then you know, you're going to hide that little module under the dash, in the glove box, maybe under the center console, wherever you're going to hide it. That's where you run the power to, so that you can plug in the little module. Okay, I have my center console reinstalled here. Let's see how this goes. So obviously this is key to the ignition now, so if I turn on the car, that wasn't too annoying, and in theory we are up, and I'll use my tablet here to play something. And I can use the volume. Yeah, good. So it works. It doesn't have a horrible startup tone. It's completely hidden, and remember, with most classic cars, they're pretty loud, so this is more for a little bit of background noise than high fidelity, because, you know, classic cars are noisy. That's 4.2 liters, straight 6, and you gotta love a car from the 1960s that comes with a gauge that has 160 miles an hour on the gauge cluster from the 1960s.